Howdy folks, Yuzu Adagio here, to welcome you to the very first episode of ASW Zatsudan, the show that recaps Time Warp for you because you forgot to set your DVR every week. We opened our first ever episode with a promo from the one, the only, the man, Becky Lynch. She was not very happy with her draw in the NBA title tournament. She thinks that Willow Nightingale is a little beneath her, that she's not worthy to step in the same ring. We'll see how that goes for her. Before that, Trish Stratus against Kid Bandit. Pretty competitive match. Early on, Trish gave her a bulldog and landed a bit funny on the hip. She was kind of limping around a little bit after that. Not sure. Hope she's okay. One of the big stars of the division, hopefully. Ref stopped for a sec. Checked on her a little bit. Went alright. She wanted to keep going, so she did. Kid Bandit got in some good offense, but at the end of the day, Bandit went for a clothesline. Trish ducked it, hit the chick kick, got the 1-2-3. Trish Stratus moves on. After the debut match of All-Star Wrestling, she's going to the second round, and she also gets a little bit of promo time, and she doesn't think Kid Bandit was worthy either. We've already got some egos going, running wild in the NBA division, where she's got the win to back it up, but I don't know. I wouldn't look past Kid Bandit even in retrospect. I made my first appearance on screen a little bit earlier than I planned to. Folks were asking me what I was talking about with Willow Nightingale backstage. Quite frankly, I was just giving her a little bit of pep talk. I mean, look, she doesn't have the star power that a lot of our NBA division does. You know, she and Kid Bandit, frankly, for that matter, are not quite on the same level of fame as some of the other worldwide talents that I brought in. But, you know, Willow's got the look, Willow's got the attitude, Willow's got the power. She's going to go far, and that's what I was telling her. Whatever Becky thinks, whatever Becky says, Willow, I think, is going to be the future of this division. Maybe she wins the tournament, maybe she doesn't. But you can mark my words, she's going to be NBA champion sooner or later. That's about, and I was telling her that much, and then Trish busted in and was running her mouth some more. It is not my fault that she feels that way. I get that she's a veteran, but I don't think she really has the right to complain that much about her competition. But she said what she said. She really ripped into me and ripped into Willow, so we'll see. Trish and Becky got some egos on them. They think they're better than that, but we'll see if that bears out. They got a whole tournament to win before I think they can really be running their mouths. 1-0 so far on the night, and in fact, we will see Becky Lynch and Willow Nightingale in action next. Start off trying to match power for power. They're just kind of trying to slug it out. Bad idea with Willow Nightingale. Babe with the power. They don't call her that just for funsies. Becky got smacked around a bit, which she's not very used to. And Willow got her spots in. Willow, it was a competitive match. I think Becky really kind of underestimated her a bit. Almost had the pin. Almost had it. Willow got her down. 1, 2, rope break. Just barely. Just barely missed it. And Becky was able to come back and win. So, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus talked about a lot of smack, but they backed it up so far. 2-0. We'll see. We played a promo video hyping up Asuka and her endeavors as Kana-chan TV. Some of her Joshi stuff, some of her Japan stuff, but kind of not everybody knows that she has that fun side to her, so I kind of wanted to play that up a little bit. Might have been a weird choice for her. She had a first round match against Kairi Hojo, the last of the tournament matches for the evening. Former tag team partners, not under the Kairi Hojo name, but whatever. We have a bunch of time travelers in this fed. We get a little loose with identities here. Classic match, Kairi and Asuka. One that I had personally been looking forward to for a while. Pretty solid fight, they don't disappoint. I feel like they build them different over there in the Joshi world. Pretty intense match, but Asuka seemed kind of unfocused. She spent a lot of time playing to the crowd. The crowd wasn't really into it. I mean, it's really hard to root against Kairi Hojo. Natural babyface. Asuka tried to win him over. The crowd wasn't entirely having it. And Kairi is not an opponent you really want to be distracted when you're fighting. Kairi was able to take her down. So that's one win for the Faces, I guess. So, moving on to the next round of the NBA title, we know we have Kairi Hojo, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus. That's 3 people. We need a 4th to make it even. So as a reminder, next week we're going to see the 3 people who lost, Kid Bandit, Willow, Nightingale, and Asuka, in a triple threat match. One of them's going to get to come back. Other 2 are done. Look forward to that next week, and then we'll crown the NBA champion in week 4. Quick promo from Kid Bandit backstage too. She did not particularly enjoy the rundown of the indie talents in the division. Can't really blame her. She warned Trish and Becky, and Asuka for that matter, not to lose focus and look past them. We could see some upsets here. I feel like we could. But we'll have to wait till next week. Should be an interesting situation to watch play out over time. Now, of course, the big news is the Royal Rumble. The entire men's side of the roster in action. ASW title on the line. And a shot at the YouTube title as a consolation prize for 3 fellas. Doesn't get much bigger than that. Let's get to it. So, unlike some other companies with their Royal Rumbles, here we have 4 people start in the ring. We just like it better that way. We played too much N64 growing up. Out first, William Regal. He's looking pretty primed for action, ready to slug it out with somebody. Second entry, bit of a deeper cut. Gallagher is in the house at number 2. He came to us on the run from the Time Police, and there is no better place to be because we have a lot of experience, naturally, dealing with time authorities, and we got your back, bud. Don't worry about it. Regal / Gallagher. Number 3, Scott Hall, representing the Outsiders decked out in the NWO finery. The bad guy is here. And speaking of bad guys, number 4, Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero in the house. Regal makes first move, taking down Slash, quick arm drag, but Eddie jumps in from behind, gets a cheap shot in, some back rates. Those 2 get each other occupied. Hall jumps in on Slash pretty quickly. Quick razor's edge. Hall's kind of feeling a bit cocky, goes for a second one, but no. Gallagher reverses it, picks him up, spine busters him down, making an impact, proving he belongs here. It's time for entry number 5. It is Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. Making his way to the ring in no hurry to get down there. Can't really blame him. It's kind of a madhouse already. You've got still Eddie Guerrero, William Regal going at it, Hall and / Gallagher. Nice little bit here with Hall throwing Slash into the ropes. Slash comes back, rolls, hits a flying rolling elbow. That was pretty sick, not gonna lie. Wasn't enough to keep Hall down though. Hall's up first, got him in the leg lock. All that time, HBK is just kind of sauntering his way, saying hi to the fans, shaking hands, kissing babies, stalling out the timer if we're being real. He busts / Gallagher out of that predicament, just picks Scott Hall up, suplexes him. Big dude, kind of impressive. Already time for number 6, and that turns out to be Scott Steiner. Big Papa Pump. He doesn't waste any time. He gets right in there, goes after Scott Hall. He's still got Regal and Guerrero going at it. Eddie's got him in the lasso from El Paso, but Regal grabs a handful of tights. Reps didn't see it and doesn't really care to Royal Rumble anyway. Manages to slither out of there. Under big questionable circumstances. HBK has taken both Slash and Scott Hall down. Goes up top. Bit of a gutsy move in a Royal Rumble scenario, but pays off for him. Hits the flying elbow, makes a big statement. Chucks Slash out of the ring for our first elimination. Tries to get Hall. Hall's not having it. Gives him a few chops in the chest. No elimination there. Chavo Guerrero, joining his uncle in action at entry number 7. Slides on down there. He was feeling himself a little bit too much here. He just came in the ring, just did all his poses and stuff. Probably should pay a bit more attention. He was just hamming it up, and HBK had time to hop up on the second rope. Chavo turned right around, took a moonsault to the face. Like, how do you get blindsided by a moonsault? I don't know, but you gotta focus, man. Chavo found his feet after that, got up, kind of stumbled straight headfirst into Scott Steiner, who's also not a fun person to take off. And Steiner and Michaels just kind of gave him a few shots and tossed him out. There you go. Not a very impressive run for Chavo there, but it's tough competition, and he did not come in with his head screwed on straight, I guess. You still got Regal and Eddie Guerrero going at it. Eddie Guerrero's a little bit distracted by Chavo's struggles, and Regal's really taking it to him. Gotta focus against Regal. That's another guy. If you mess up once, he's going to be on you. And he was. HBK flying crossbody to Scott Hall. They both tumble out over the top, but they both land on the apron. Fighting a little bit, and it's time for entry number 8, and that is going to be Daniel Bryan, the WWE one, because I haven't seen him in other feds. Too bad. He comes in, House Fire, takes down Scott Steiner, smacks Regal in the head, right in the cranium with a bionic elbow, cleaning everybody out. Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels managed to get back into the ring, still slugging it out. Eddie Guerrero coming over to help, and HBK gets a little bit of double team, but he manages to fight back and push them both off of him. Entry number 9 is The Rock. If you smell what he is cooking, he's coming in. He's going after Eddie Guerrero. Decks him, does that whole punch, little bit of a dance, big punch bit, lays Eddie Guerrero out, but Eddie Guerrero's a smart cookie. He scrambles away before he can get in more trouble than that. Shawn Michaels manages to power Scott Hall over the top rope. Big elimination right there from the Heartbreak Kid. Scott Steiner and The Rock are going back and forth now. Looks like Scott's got the upper hand, but it's time for entry number 10, Big Kevin Nash. I hope he is doing well IRL. He comes in, he and Daniel Bryan put the boots to William Regal and dump him out. Now, that means there are 3 slots in the YouTube title match up for grabs. 1 goes to whoever of the initial 4 lasts the longest. That is now officially Eddie Guerrero. If he goes on to win, it'll go to Regal instead, but it's a big task to win from the start of a Rumble, even if it's a 20-man Rumble like this one. So, figured give him a shot at a consolation prize there. Probably going to Eddie Guerrero. Probably. Regal's out. And then, out of the back, unscheduled, comes Rick Steiner. He's here to help out his bro Scott. Brawling back and forth with the Rock. Grabs Rock by the foot. They have a little bit of a shouting match. Scott Steiner sees his opportunity, takes it, dumps the Rock out over the top. Rock out really fast. Gotta be pretty bummed about that. He had some words for Rick Steiner on his way to the back. Can't blame him. Kevin Nash and Daniel Bryan have turned on each other. Big man's getting the better of that one. He pancakes Bryan with a big old splash. Eddie Guerrero's got HBK up. 3 amigos. Crowd's really rallying behind the Heartbreak Kid. Going to be a tough one, though. HBK kips up. He's really feeling it, but Scott Steiner's here and just gives him a big boot to the head, puts him right back down again. Not going too hot for HBK there. Entry number 11, Penta El Cero Miedo. I am going to screw up and call him Pentagon Jr. about 20 times over the course of this project. I'm just going to let you know that now. He comes in. He's staring everybody down. Eddie Guerrero sees an opportunity. He takes it. He just does a little coconut bonk, knocking HBK and Scott Steiner's heads together. HBK shakes it off first while Eddie Guerrero and Scott Steiner are going at it. And HBK actually gets Guerrero from behind, hits rolling Germans. I don't know if you'd call that the 3 amigos anymore, but he hits some Germans on him, chucks them right over the top. Eddie Guerrero out of here. Strong performance, but not strong enough. Good enough to get him that into the YouTube title match, though. Kevin Nash still bullying around Daniel Bryan with his superior size, really throwing his weight around in there. Having a lot of trouble eliminating him, though. Bryan's a tough cookie and a smart guy and really tenacious. It's hard to get him out of that ring if he doesn't want to be out of that ring. We have learned that in the past. But Nash has a simple solution for that. He just picks him up and overheads him like a slightly larger Rey Mysterio into the barricade. That's it for Daniel Bryan. Good night. Thanks for coming. Entry number 12 is the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Pomp and circumstance playing throughout the arena. He comes in, House of Fire, Miss Elizabeth at his side, looking lovely as usual. Takes out Shawn Michaels, takes out Scott Steiner. He's really fired up tonight. We've got Kevin Nash now also going after Scott Steiner. Nash pummeling Steiner in the corner. Doesn't seem to be doing much to him, though. Battle of the big guys. Can't always go power on power there. Entry number 13, another one of our deeper cuts. Sweet and sour Larry Sweeney. He is ready to roll. He is perhaps slightly overestimating how well this is going to go for him, but he sure seems happy to be here. Kevin Nash loses focus for just a minute, seeing who that is. Probably doesn't know the guy. Scott Steiner smacks him in the back of the head. You don't turn your back on Scott Steiner. Really? A lot of these people. Sweeney and Scott Steiner putting the boots to Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash powers out of both of them, clotheslines of both. HBK gets a little bit, gets into it with Miss Elizabeth a little bit. Randy Savage likes that about as much as you would expect him to. Jumps him from behind. Penta joins in. They put the boots to him, toss him out. HBK skins the cat. They didn't watch him hit the ground, and HBK is kind of the original guy that you shouldn't do that to. Manages to get back in there. Number 14. Ray Phoenix. We're completing the Lucha Bros. The tag division is going to be very important to All-Star Wrestling. We're getting in as many tag teams as we can. He comes in all excited and gets clotheslined to hell by Scott Steiner there. Just takes his dang head off. Kevin Nash already tossing out Larry Sweeney. Didn't go too well for him. He seems vaguely offended by this, but what really are you going to do? You went after Kevin Nash and you went after Scott Steiner. How did you think that was going to go for you, man? Shawn Michaels going after Randy Savage. They're going back and forth. HBK actually got the bit of an upper hand there because Kevin Nash has set his sights on Penta, and that's they do be brawling. Penta's giving as good as it gets, though. Like, he might not have the size of Kevin Nash, but boy, he's pretty mean. Rick Steiner is back, but this time in an official capacity as entrant number 15. I wasn't kidding about the tag teams. He's going to go over there, and he's going to try to help Scott Steiner. Phoenix going to duck at the opportune time. Rick levels Scott. Whoopsie daisy. That happens a little bit. Randy Savage, Shawn Michaels, still going at it. HBK's got Macho Man on the ropes. Backs up a little bit, signals, goes for the sweet chin music. Savage slips it. HBK gets caught in the ropes. Savage dumps him over. Good night, HBK. Good run, not good enough. He's still got Penta and Nash going at it. Savage hits Penta with a low blow from behind. Looks like we might have a Wolfpack reunion going for a little bit here. Entry number 16, Kofi Kingston is here, ready to party. Crowd's really into it. Kofi Mania is running wild in ASW. Joins in with Scott Steiner. They are taking it to Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash withstanding quite a lot of abuse there. Powers back. We get another spot where he clotheslines both of the people double teaming him. Goes for jackknife. Gets Kofi up. Takes him over to the ropes in the powerbomb position, but Kofi reverses it. Kofi reverses it, lands on the apron, takes Kevin Nash out with the Rana. Got him. Big one. Big moves already for Kofi Kingston. Rick Steiner had a few words for the camera, and together the Steiner brothers are really putting the boots to Phoenix over there. Entry number 17, CM Punk in the house. Love him or hate him, he is here. Most of the crowd seems to be on the side of hate him. Phoenix having a lot of trouble with the Steiner brothers over there in the corner. But here comes Randy Savage, who just knocks Penta out over the top unceremoniously. It's a rough night for Penta. Couldn't quite get the job done there. Steiner brothers getting a little bit too cocky. They hype each other up, and Phoenix has time to hit him with a springboard maneuver. Takes them both out. All three of them down. Number 18, Xavier Woods. We have two other people after him left to enter the Rumble, and I bet you can't guess who one of them is. That's just the way it worked out, though. Xavier Woods, instead of going over to help out Kofi, he teams up with Phoenix, and they are able to eliminate Rick Steiner together. Take out Scott Steiner and eliminate Rick Steiner. CM Punk sees an opportunity, kicks Woods in the head. Kofi comes over to help, but runs afoul of Randy Savage, hits him with a facebuster, and hits Scott Steiner with a low blow. Savage clean house a little bit, but it's time for entry number 19. It is, in fact, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. Randy Savage got Scott Steiner on the ropes. gives him a drop kick. Scott Steiner leans back, doesn't quite send him over though. Little bit too heavy for that. But you know who isn't too heavy for that kind of thing? CM Punk gets Woods from behind, gets him in a hamper lock, manages to power him over the top. Woods, on the way back to the locker room, decides to introduce himself to the lovely Miss Elizabeth. Randy Savage is, again, about as big a fan of that as you would expect. Kofi Kingston also headed over there to say bye to his partner. And Savage decks him. Next best thing to decking Woods, I guess. Tries to get him over the top, can't quite. Kofi is incredibly difficult to get over the top, as you will see as this Rumble goes on. Entry number 20. Not that much of a surprise in context, but it's Big E. He manages to get in there in time to save Kofi from Savage. Kofi left tangled in the top rope while they brawl, and Miss Elizabeth tries to pull him out by his hand. Can't quite do it. Got a little bit. She's got the leverage, but Kofi's got a lot of core strength going for him. Meanwhile, CM Punk, Arn Anderson double teaming Big E for a bit. Arn Anderson steps back. Punk kicks him in the head. Over the top for Big E. Rough night so far for New Day, but they've still got Kofi in there. Or do they? Randy Savage launches Kofi over the top, but Big E and Xavier, still at ringside, manage to catch him and return him safely to the ring. Meanwhile, CM Punk manages to get Scott Steiner up, hits the GTS on the big man. Rick also sticking around at ringside to cheer him on. Ain't really helping that much. Punk and Anderson get CM Punk, toss him onto Rick. Rick tries to do the same save for Scott Steiner that the New Day did for Kofi. Doesn't work as well for him. He gets squished like a bug. Scott Steiner is out with possibly even less dignity than it would be earlier. Good run for Scott there, but nope, not enough. We got Randy Savage and Phoenix going at it amongst themselves. Kofi's able to slip back in. You got Punk turning on Arn Anderson, takes him down with the element of surprise, gets him in a Boston Crab, wearing him down a little bit. And you got Savage and Phoenix double teaming on Kofi again. This time Phoenix turns on Savage before they can quite get Kofi out. Punk and Arn still going at it. Punk manages to bundle Arn Anderson over the top, and that means two things. That means that CM Punk and Shawn Michaels are now tied for the most eliminations, and tied for the spot in the YouTube title match. One of those two, I believe, at this point is mathematically going to be in the YouTube title match, along with Eddie Guerrero so far. That also takes us down to our final four. And like any self-respecting Royal Rumble, we have a four-way stare-down as they assess the situation. You've got Kofi Kingston, Randy Savage, CM Punk, Rey Fenix, all four men that have been in there a while and taken a lick and survived some tough situations. Randy Savage is the first to take the initiative here. He blindsides Punk with a punch to the jaw, knocks him down. Paul Heyman inserts himself into the situation, successfully distracts Macho Man. It's not very hard if we're being honest. Kofi Kingston sees that opportunity to go after Randy Savage. Phoenix is taking the opportunity to pick the bones and leaves Punk in the temple. Savage and Kofi going to the mat. Not exactly a strong spot for either of them, but probably favors Macho Man a little bit there. Phoenix taking it to Punk, but goes throats for crossbody. Punk catches him, gets him up. GTS. Phoenix bounces over the top rope. We're down to 3. That also mathematically clinches the most eliminations in the match for CM Punk, guaranteeing him at least a YouTube title shot. Kofi, big drop kick on Randy Savage, but Savage has taken slightly less punishment in this match. He gets up first, grabs him, stuffs him into a big pile driver, tosses him out. Kofi skins the cat. He's done that like 5 times already this match, but it's Kofi Kingston in a Royal Rumble. It takes a lot. And in fact, he's on the apron. Liz grabs his foot, pulls on him. He tries to deal with that, and he's a little bit tangled up with that. Savage gets him from behind. While he's fighting off Miss Elizabeth, Kofi is finally eliminated. Sad to say. And that takes us down to Randy Savage, CM Punk. One of these two guys is going to be our very first ASW Open World Champion. Here we go. Punk goes right after Savage. goes for the cheap shot. Savage is able to dodge it after Miss Elizabeth warns him. Punk still got the initiative, though. Got Savage backed up on the ropes, hits him with a series of kicks, Muay Thai kind of stuff to the midsection. Savage ain't that fancy. Just grabs him, headbutts him. To break the momentum, once there's a little bit of space, Punk staggers back. Randy Savage, big old clothesline. Both guys down. Savage up first, tries to power him over the top. Punk's not having it, hits a headbutt of his own. Punk hits the GTS, but they're both too wiped to capitalize on it. Takes both of them a bit of time to get up. Punk's up first, seizes the advantage. More body blows, more strikes. Savage just tackles him, and they are brawling all over the place. Brawling over to the ropes. They're slugging it out. Over near the ropes. Title on the line. Punk sees his opportunity. Massive clothesline, sending both of them over the ropes. Savage hangs on, pulls him down with him. But Savage's feet hit the floor first. CM Punk, your first ASW champion. Ain't a lot of people happy with that, but most of all, Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. Timing on that elimination was down to like a half a second, but what you gonna do? The tape don't lie. Much as Randy Savage tried to argue that it did. CM Punk, with the big gold belt, gloating in the ring, Paul Heyman at his side, hyping him up. We have our very first ASW All-Star Wrestling Champion. That also means a couple other things. That means that our YouTube title match is going to be Shawn Michaels for getting the most eliminations other than Punk. Randy Savage gets the consolation prize. He didn't get the big belt, but he gets a shot at the red one. And Eddie Guerrero did the best he could with a bad starting number, so he's going to be the third guy. It's going to be a heck of a fight. I caught up with Arn Anderson after the match, by the way, and he had a few words for CM Punk. I imagine there are a lot of people who are going to want a piece of Punk. He is the champion after all, but Punk took him out with the blind side, and he doesn't think Punk could take him in a fair fight. We could get a chance to find that out sometime. Who knows? He might need to take a number to get a shot at Punk for the belt, but if I was Punk, I'd probably be sleeping with one eye open for a little bit. So that's the wrap-up on our very first episode of Time Warp, and the card is already set for next week. It's hard to beat a Royal Rumble on free TV to crown a world champion, but we are sure as heck going to try next week. Kicking it off, we're going to have two really big names that didn't quite get it done in the Royal Rumble. Bit of a disappointing outing for both of them, but one of them's going to get a redemption arc next week. The Rock taking on Scott Hall, and that's just the opener, folks. We are looking forward to week 3 where we crown tag team champs, but I gotta figure out who I'm going to put in that match. And based on what we saw at the Royal Rumble, I think two of the teams with the strongest claim to that honor would be the Steiner Brothers and the Lucha Bros. So they're going to square off. Title ramifications? Maybe. We'll see. Kofi Kingston and Arn Anderson both have a bit of a bone to pick with how they were eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Arn got kind of taken out by a cheap shot from CM Punk. Kofi did 5 million fancy Kofi saves, as he is wont to do. It took Miss Elizabeth helping from outside to take him out. Both of them have somewhat legitimate gripes with how the Royal Rumble went for him. One of them gets to prove a point here tonight. Kofi Kingston, Arn Anderson. Should be an interesting clash-up of styles. In our final singles match of the evening, two guys who had really strong runs in the Rumble, but not much to show for it at the end of the day. It's going to be Daniel Bryan and Kevin Nash. They both spent a good bit of time both working together and duking it out with each other. Is Nash's rope going to help him out as much when it's not in a Rumble-style format? He's a very dangerous foe, but so is Bryan. Bit of a David and Goliath moment. Should be a good one. Our semi-main event, one of two big triple threats. We have the second chance match for the NBA title tournament. Willow Nightingale, Kid Bandit, Asuka facing off. The winner gets to keep their title hopes alive. They gotta face Trish Stratus. The other semifinal, by the way, gonna take place also on week 3. That's gonna be Kairi Hojo and Becky Lynch. We'll see if one of our indie folks can prove she belongs here, or if it's just gonna be Asuka big leaguing her way to the semifinals. And finally, I'm particularly hyped because we need to crown another champion next week. The YouTube title is going to be decided, and folks, it's going to be a wild one. It's going to be between HBK, Macho Man, Eddie Guerrero. It doesn't get much better than that, folks. You got HBK, knocked a bunch of people out of the Rumble. You have Randy Savage, who was a hair's breadth away from winning the thing. You had Eddie Guerrero, who put up a really good show against some really big names, starting from the number 4 spot. One of them's going to get a heck of a consolation prize. I'm hyped for next week. I hope you are too, and I will see you then.